The last time I've been this sick is when I last saw an international football game. Okay, you know what? Sickness is actually a legitimate thing and it should not be fiddled around to joke with, okay? I agree. Considering the amount of lives that were lost or the people that are suffering right now, I can't really make a joke on sickness. So let me come clean, okay? I never watch international football, okay? I never watch international football. And I decided to watch international football when I heard that Portugal versus France is on, but I'm gonna let you know my thoughts about it anyway, okay? The thing is, I never watch international football, but there is that silly little optimism that I always have, man. That silly little kiddish amount of optimism that I had that, okay, this one time, an international break is actually going to be legit. It's not going to be stalemates. It's not going to be 1-0 losing on a penalty. That's kinda hypocritical considering that I support Real Madrid in 2020. And that little optimism costs you very dearly and you decide to chew more than you can swallow. I think it's swallow more than you can chew. I don't care anyway. Back in the day, man, it used to sting me so much that friendlies even existed. It just is an added burden and an added weight and an added amount of workload for players that actually kind of distracts them from their usual regime of that of club football, you know? And the fact that international football used to come through in the form of friendlies and not through legitimate qualifiers that are actually exciting, to be honest, that used to piss me off, man. That used to piss me off like anything. The Portugal versus France game, after I watched it, the Nations League is just another name for a friendly, man, okay? Now, Portugal versus France isn't the very first game I watched of the Nations League. The only Nations League game I ever watched was Portugal versus Netherlands in the final of the last edition of the Nations League, and yeah, that was kind of boring as well. That was kind of boring as well. A very desperate attempt to reignite that interest into international football in the form of Nations League, and guess what? It has worked. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back to discover the technique behind Bruno Fernandes's ability to score in open play. Yo! Have you been watching the Nations League lately? Congratulations! That means you are a fam, let's be honest. I've not watched many games from the Nations League, but the one game I've watched, it has created a very negative impact on me. Yes, I do support the Spanish national team and I keep following what they keep doing throughout, okay? Spain versus Germany, trash. Spain versus Portugal, trash. Every game, trash. Yeah, trash, okay? Shit. Fam, the worst part of a football match when you're on a Sunday night, okay? The next day you have a class and that class is at 9:20 in the morning and you are there at 12:15 actually optimistic and you watch a stalemate. You watch a stalemate. Anyway, Portugal versus France was so trash, man. I mean, I tried watching the Portugal versus Spain game. I mean, the next day itself, I had an exam, alright? The next day itself, I had an exam. And I was just listening to the commentary. Like, literally, I was just listening to the commentary. And I wasn't really trying to watch the match. I was just trying to listen to it. And if you did watch that match, Portugal actually decided to become crossbar magnets somehow that day. The worst part of stalemates is that hitting the crossbar and not scoring. That's even worse than actually not having shots on target. I am glad that I didn't watch that match, okay? Now let's get to the point, alright? France versus Portugal, right? That's what I was talking about. 12:15 a.m. in the night and you give me that dank hole, man. The first shot on target, for Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes, one of the most decorated and most prolific attacking players of the game, has his first shot on target in the 90th minute, man. Kylian Mbappe, the most promising young player in the world right now, has the best France chance and he decides to completely bottle it. Or the only chance, to be honest, where France actually gave the goalkeeper a proper challenge. Anyway, that chance also, he strikes it so poorly, man, to Rui Patricio, who was definitely way off position. He could have definitely buried Rui Patricio there and there itself. And you know what the worst part about that save was? That Rui Patricio was confused about a good save that he made. Yes, he actually made it look like a good save. And you know what? I shouldn't be going with Rui Patricio, man. I should be going more at Mbappe. What are you doing? I mean, look at him. Look at him. Look at Rui Patricio. It's not that funny, does it? It's not that funny. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these are the only two shots that actually posed a challenge to the goalkeeper, man. I can't believe how the most eventful thing of the whole game was Cristiano Ronaldo and Mbappe having an intimate moment. What was rather unsurprising was Bruno and Pogba's performances, to be honest. You know what? That's not unsurprising. It was definitely a lot surprising. It was definitely surprising. I don't know. But the bottom line is that Bruno and Pogba, I believe from an attacking front of the game, Bruno and Pogba were probably the best players for their respective teams. Again, on an attacking front. I know some of you are going to get triggered and say, oh, it's Ruben Diaz, he's so ignorant of defensive play. Oh, it's Rafael Varane, he's so ignorant, how childish is he? I know it was a game that was literally balled over by the defenders and literally the attackers had no say in this game. But speaking of Bruno and Pogba, man, every Manchester United game I've watched them, man, recently. Brighton, trash. Crystal Palace, trash. And Tottenham, see, the thing is, the sleeping was quite evident throughout the game on Manchester United's part. The only thing is that Paul Pogba took the sleeping a bit more literally, is the point here. However, there were some major shouts from this. I'm not going to only just criticize the Nations League for its lack of entertainment value, for its lack of the vibe, or for the lack of the passion that is there in a fixture like France versus Portugal. You could definitely argue that defending was magnificent. It was amazing. Some crucial stops were made, not by the goalkeeper, but Rafael Varane was class. Ruben Diaz was class. The same could be said about Ruben Diaz as well, who's been setting big expectations back at Manchester, who believe that they're going to cross the quarterfinals. At least this time they genuinely believe that he is the missing piece to the puzzle. Because I've seen so many players that have been allegedly the missing piece to the puzzle. But I somehow can't understand, despite spending all that money, how you still can't find the missing piece. Okay, you know what? I'm not bothered about the 0-0. Okay? What about the passion, man, from the attacking front from both teams? Hardly there were shots taken on target, man, from both ends. Hardly the goalkeeper was challenged, man. There was no excitement. There was no vibes. You can't say that this is because of the fans. I watched the Champions League final. Yes, it was a defensive masterclass as well, although Bayern did win 1-0. But guess what? It was actually one of the most exciting Champions League finals that I had ever watched. Mbappe, Pogba, Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno, Bernardo Silva, João Felix, Antoine Griezmann. Are you dumb? Yeah, what is it? Did I say Griezmann? Oh, let's cut that. Sorry. On a note though, I feel like if there was no Nations League, it would have been a bit more better. It just looks like a desperate attempt in order to give that international games a bit more luster, and instead of calling them friendlies, if you call them something like a Nations League or something, and if it's governed by Uefa, somehow suddenly it becomes interesting. And you know what really pisses me off about international games being played, and yes, going on a 2-week hiatus of club football, by the way, and it doesn't really concern the absence of club football. For me, it's more the presence of international games that's actually pissing me off, and this is why. First of all, we are in due course of a pandemic. I don't know how Uefa keeps forgetting that. I don't even know how this is being allowed to happen, honestly. Yes, it is an undisputable fact that testing has definitely increased, and now we are able to report much more cases than we could in the past. However, cases have been increasing as well. It's an undisputable fact that cases have been increasing. And I'm not saying that you should shut down football. Obviously, you shouldn't. But when the club football competitions are your main focus, you should look towards only catering to that for now at least. Club football involves players meeting very regularly, shaking hands, touching wherever, and players have their own private lives again. They meet certain people in their everyday life, although not in groups and huge numbers. They do meet certain people in their own life, and to club football alone, it has definitely resulted in spreading of coronavirus to certain players like Sadio Mane or Thiago Alcantara or Mariano Diaz a few months ago. So what good does an international break do when a team that has club footballers all staying together constantly, dispersed to their own countries, and then everyone comes together? And how good is any of that doing? I mean, as a plus point, the quality of football is trash anyway, so I don't know how it helps the case for international football. You know what? I'll leave it to your guys' imagination anyway. I mean, you guys know better. I think you'll know better. And let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Nations League or any kind of international football happening and resulting in 2 weeks of no Real Madrid football. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. If you want to tell me anything else, first start off by hitting that subscribe button and also dropping a like on this video. So you know what? Stay safe, stay healthy, and I shouldn't have done that. Peace.